on the Heat. It is Chris Styles. It's been a very, very amazing week. It's been warm-up week. Every week, we brought you a new artist. We allowed them to sing. You got up close and personal. You found out something new about them. Today, we got a new artist out of the Las Vegas, Nevada area. He's got a hit record called Get Home that we play here on the Heat, featuring Kid Ink and Quavo. We've got Mr. JR Castro in the room.
Yeah, man. Chris,
how are you, sir?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. We're glad you're here, man. You got the hit record bumping out there, and we're playing it on the Heat. People are seeing it. You seeing the spins?
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Come on. I gotta say, much love, and I appreciate everything y'all doing for me, man. A young dude from Las Vegas, man. So I appreciate it, man.
Right.
I'm
no
really
problem.
happy to be here.
So talk about growing up in Vegas, because it's such a tourist destination, and everyone just knows, all the casinos and, everyone's running around, but you actually, what is it, like a suburb kind of outside of the Strip?
Listen,
are you right there?
I'm in I grew up in the rough part of Vegas. Just like any other city in the world, there's rough, there's good and bad parts, and you got the Strip. But I grew up in Vegas, man. Vegas is home. I love Vegas. You know what I'm saying? My whole family's out there, and it was a interesting journey, but we here.
Right. So at what age did you really start going? Is it downtown? Is that what you call it?
You got the downtown Vegas. Then you got the Strip.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Downtown Vegas, if you come in from, like, let's say California, it's more north. You know what I'm saying? And then as you go more south, you start hitting the Strip, areas like that.
Right. So at what age did you really start getting in and running around and, seeing the lights and the hustle and everything?
I would say around my teenage years. Yeah, I started getting into it, getting out and, really, getting my feet wet in the streets and stuff like that. But,
right. So musically in Vegas, who did you kind of gravitate towards? Who did you listen to? Were you able to kind of go see any live shows? Because there's so much live entertainment in Vegas. So talk about what you went towards, musically and what you kind of gravitated towards.
Okay, so growing up in my household, I got 3 older sisters and I got 2 younger brothers, man. So we've always had a active household, man. And my parents, they played a lot of R&B music, man. So I grew up listening to people like, Stevie Wonder, the Commodores, Michael Jackson, Donny Hathaway, just to name some. And that's what really captured me at a young age to just love music in general. I didn't discover I could sing until my teenage years. You know what I'm saying? So I was kind of a late bloomer. But those are some of the people that I listened to in growing up, Boyz II Men, Brian McKnight, Usher, So that's my that's where it all started for me.
Right. And before there was JR Castro, there was a group.
It was.
That you were in. We're going to talk about that group and the journey and what you learned from that group through the music industry. We got more with JR Castro on the way. It's warm-up week. Chris Styles sitting down with new R&B singer JR Castro.
Yeah, man. Chris, my G.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you coming through. So we kind of teased it. Before there was JR Castro, the singer, there was the group I-15?
Yeah.
Okay, so talk about that group and how the name came about and how it was formed and I guess what you learned.
Okay, so the group started, me and my group member, his name is Mr. Pyro, Daz they call him. Shout out to Mr. Pyro. We went to high school together. We discovered each other actually the summer before going in high school through one of my ex-girlfriends. She introduced me to him, like, yo, I know somebody that sings. He's from Chicago. You got to meet him. Dope singer. We met instantly. We formed a duo. Now, the I-15 is Interstate 15 in Vegas, which connects to California. And this is where my third group member comes into play. We met him in California. So, we wanted to bridge the two. And that was, I-15 connects Vegas and Los Angeles. So that's where the name derived from. So.
Right. Not to be confused with the area code 702.
Right.
With the girl group.
That was awesome. Yeah. Shout out to 702, man. They were the actual, at the time, they were the stars of Vegas, me coming up. You know what I mean?
Right. So you guys were signed to Polo's label?
Polo the Don, Zone 4.
Zone 4. So this is what? 2007?
2006, 2007, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you kind of learn? Because obviously, I'm just kind of reading the bio. Didn't quite happen. So you moved from Atlanta back to Vegas.
Las Vegas, yeah.
So I guess, what did you learn from that first go round in the industry?
I learned that, it is very, very, very vital that, you're on time and you do exactly what you need to do to excel to the next stage or the next level, whatever it is you're doing. You know what I mean? Whether it be you got to be at rehearsal at 5 o'clock in the morning, be there at 4:50. You got to be at the radio station. It's being on time and being punctual and doing what you got to do. Just like anybody else that will go to a job and you have to meet the job standards. You know what I'm saying? And I always keep that in mind every single day, man, because it gets hard. It gets hard out here, you know, doing music and traveling and, you know, going through life and experience different cultures and stuff like that. And the most important thing is never forgetting the goal. You know what I mean?
So you're in the group. You got a taste of life in the music industry. You got a taste of probably moving around and having fans. And then you go back to Vegas.
Yeah.
And then what happens, or what is life like,
you, man. So
going back to I don't want to say a nobody, because you still had the experience, but you know, I'm sure you're
I had to start over.
Right.
You know, I had to start from scratch, man, going from living out my dreams to, you know, having to come back and really figure it all out. It was rough. It was rough at the time. My mom passed away. I was married. My marriage didn't work out. I had a kid on the way, you know, all those different things. So it was a really dark, you know, and tough time for me. But, you know, I don't believe in quitting. You know, thanks to my dad, who was able to, you know, be an example of that. You know what I mean? So, and I just kept it together, man. Music really kept me there. My passion for music and creating and the love of it kept me, you know, kept my head above waters.
Right. And you still put in that work, man. I'm reading you worked at the UPS.
I did.
Worked at a shoe store.
Man, I was working 3 jobs. I was working at Walmart, Tire Lube and Express. I was at Golden Nugget, yo, at the warehouse, stocking food, man. I was working at Converse, selling shoes. I was working at FedEx. I loaded some trucks. And then I started driving cat buses, man. I got my commercial driver's license. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, you know, we all men and we got to be men and we got to live up to that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I did. You know what I mean? That's it. Yeah.
Right. Well, it took a meeting backstage with a famous producer. I'm sure you have a great story.
Yeah, man.
So when we come back, we're going to talk about that.
Let's do it.
We got more with JR Castro. It's warm-up week here in the Heat. It's warm-up week here on the Heat. It's Chris Styles hanging out with Mr. JR Castro.
Yeah, man.
Straight out of Vegas, hanging out with us here on the Heat. He's got the single Get Home on iTunes.
On iTunes right now.
Grab that right now,
yes,
okay? Go to
do.
iTunes, do a search, JR Castro. Is it J period, R period?
No, just JR
Just
Castro.
JR.
Yeah.
Okay, no excuses. So we're talking about the journey. You were in the group I-15 right around 2007, 2008. Came back to Vegas.
Yeah.
You're grinding for your newborn daughter.
Yep.
Correct.
Newborn daughter.
And I'm sure you're probably hitting maybe, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Oh.
Maybe I got to do something else.
Man, I had all those questions.
Right.
Man.
All the questions. I don't know if singing's for me.
Yep.
And then talk about what happened and who you met and how that changed your life backstage at a Justin Timberlake show.
That's right. So I met none other than the king himself, Timbaland.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I met King Timbo, man. He had been hearing my music through some mutual friends that we knew, you know, me being from the group and stuff, and, you know, making certain connections that I did. He heard the music, man, and he really loved it. And it shocked me because he came up to me like, yo, my man, I've been hearing what you've been doing, and I'm rocking with this. What are you doing? You need to be out here, man, making a difference with this music. So we went to the Palm Studio, recorded a song that same night, created a smash. You know what I mean? We had a long conversation. It was like a 3-hour conversation. He just basically gave me the battery pack, the Phil Jackson down in the fourth.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
The motivation.
Yo.
Yeah, you can do this.
You need to do this.
Right.
So that changed my whole perspective. And it just made me, it really just, I gotta thank him, a great thanks to him, because it reminded me like of my mother talking to me, you know what I mean? And believing in her son, you know what I'm saying? So that was really wonderful, and it was a blessing in that whole situation, you know what I'm saying?
Did he say anything like you kind of remind him of Genuine?
No? Hey, what he did say though, he was like, yo, you know, he did say something along the lines like, it's like, yo, it's the same feeling I had when I discovered Genuine,
yeah,
you know, discovered Aaliyah and Missy and all them people. So for him to say that to somebody like me, and for where I come from, I was like, yo, I'm stopping what I'm doing. I need to do this.
So where did that go from there? That's 2014. Now we're a year later.
Yeah.
You know, did he link you up with, you know, you got the record with Mustard and some of these other heavyweight producers?
Oh, man, it's a lot, man. I'll name a few.
Yeah.
I got Mustard on a project. Shout out to the homie Mustard. I got Mike Will on the project. I got Nick Knack, production-wise. And then I got some features on there too, man. It's gonna be pretty dope, and I can't wait for y'all to hear.
Right, and this is the EP.
This is the EP.
Right.
Yeah.
Any timeline on this yet?
We're gonna drop at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
2016.
Cool.